By the way, guys, the lipstick that I'm wearing, because I know you guys are going to ask me, is from my new ColourPop order, and I'm so excited. I love them so much. I think I Snapchatted about it like 2 days ago. But I'm currently wearing, so I'm wearing the Lippy Stick in Lumière, and then I'm wearing the Ultra Matte Lip in Lumière 2. So this is the combination that I have on right now, and I love it. They're so amazing. They're so matte. They don't smudge. Like, look at that. Nothing. Well, a little bit, but not much. And they stay on all day. They are absolutely amazing if you're looking for a good, like, I guess like a Kylie dupe kind of thing that's not so expensive. Definitely go for ColourPop. They are amazing. I think they're like $6 each, which is really like not that bad at all. Hey guys, what's up? It's Justine. I hope you are all doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you guys. I think it's been, well, a week. I mean, that's like kind of long in my world. I don't know. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about something that it's difficult to deal with, but it's also a very real reality of the job that we do and things that we are going to encounter in the workplace, and that is death in the workplace. So basically, this is not a how-to video because I am not an expert whatsoever. I don't have any tips to give you guys, really. The only thing is I can talk about my experience. And what inspired me to do this video is my shift on Tuesday. So I'm going to start by telling you guys what happened on Tuesday, and then I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know, just like discuss my feelings about it and my experience and things like that. So Tuesday I worked evenings. And I had a pretty heavy patient load. I had only 6 patients, but it was a pretty heavy load. I had 2 unstable patients, one that was extremely unsteady and one that was like unsteady, and then the rest were pretty okay. And I had 2 students, so like they lightened my load for like the easy patients. I had this one patient, and we'll just call him Mr. X. And Mr. X was there for CHF, exacerbation, and pneumonia. I can't remember if he developed the pneumonia in hospital or before admission, but I think it was in hospital. He probably aspirated and acquired pneumonia. And this man was very, very sick, and he was pretty much going to die, but it wasn't like we didn't know when, and I didn't really get that on report. I understood it after like reading the notes and things. But I get a report, so he's on 98% high flow oxygen, which is basically a machine that is controlled by a respiratory therapist. It's a machine that goes into his nose and basically forces oxygen into his lungs, and it was at 100%, so you can't get any higher than that. He had a PICC line. He had 2 butterflies that were installed during the day. If you don't know what a butterfly is, it's basically like the catheter that we use to insert an IV. It's a subcutaneous. So basically you insert the IV catheter subcutaneously, you remove the needle, and so it's just basically a little tube, and it's just to deliver like morphine or scopolamine without having to inject them every time. So it's just like to ease the pain, to help with the pain. So he had 2 butterflies, a PICC line, a Foley, and then the high flow humidity that connected to his nose. I've had this patient before, but a month ago or 2 months ago when he had just been admitted, and he was so swollen on Tuesday. Like, I pressed his hand because he was so edematous. I pressed to see how deep it would go, and fluid just like seeped out. I've never seen anyone this edematous in my life. And so I get a report. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a tough shift, but it's okay. I can do it. I prioritize. You know, I got this. So I walk into the room, and his wife is sitting there. So I greet his wife. I tell her, hi, my name is Justine. I'm gonna be your husband's nurse today. Blah blah. Write my name on the board, and I get my machine. And off the bat, he did not look good. He was kind of lying in the position like this. Breathing really heavily. You could hear his like the congestion in his lungs because he was so congested. And so I'm like, okay, this doesn't look good, but you know what? He's been like this for a while, so maybe it's not so bad. And so I take his vitals, and sure enough, his oxygen was at 75%. Now, they had been suctioning him once in a while during the day. He hated it. Sometimes he refused it, but I had to call Archie, and they would come suction. Oxygen was 75, which is not good. And his heart rate, of course, was varying between 35 and 50. And that freaked me out. I tried to keep my cool because the wife was there. And I knew he wasn't doing well, but I was like, okay, planning in my head, all right, heart rate 35 to 50. I'm going to go tell the doctor about that. Maybe they can give him something, and medication, I'm not sure. And then for his oxygen, I'm going to go page RT and have them come suction him. Now, keep in mind, this patient was a level 3. And I don't know how it works in other hospitals, but in our hospital, we have level 1 through 5. 1 is perform CPR, do every measure you have to save their life. Level 5 is palliative. So he was level 3, which is do not resuscitate. and no extraordinary measures, but like we could like fluid resuscitate him. We can give him like atropine and epinephrine and medications like that if he needed it. And also I couldn't get a blood pressure. It wouldn't read. I tried twice, it wouldn't read. So I was going to try a third time. And his heart rate during the day had been in the 70s. And I was like, okay, this is a bit off. His oxygen had been in the 90s. I'm like, okay, I don't like this. But he was a level 3, so it wasn't like an emergency kind of thing. I was just like waiting and see. So I tried to take his blood pressure again. And as I'm trying to take his blood pressure, he still has the pulse ox connected. And I see that I lose a pulse and his sat starts going down in the 60s. And it's suddenly very quiet in the room. And so I turned to his finger to see maybe it disconnected. No, it was still on. And before I can even look at him, his wife says, "Is he breathing?" And the extraordinary thing is that maybe 2 minutes later, while I was trying to get a blood pressure, his wife was looking at him and she says, "I think it's only a matter of time now." So she was aware that he wasn't doing well. And then 2 minutes later, she says, "Is he breathing?" Keep in mind, I have very, very minimal experience with dealing with these kinds of emergency situations. So I look at him and sure enough, he didn't look like he was breathing. I didn't hear him breathe anymore. I put my hand on his chest. I could not feel him breathing. But then again, I have no experience, so maybe he's breathing very shallow and I don't feel it. And I tried to take a pulse, but he was so demented I couldn't. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even think to go for the carotid. I was freaking out in my head so bad. Like, that's how little experience I have. And so I was thinking, okay, I don't think he's breathing. Do I pull the emergency bell? That was the main thing that I was like questioning. I was like, do I pull the emergency bell? He's a level 3, so we're not gonna do CPR. So this is like, and we know he's gonna die. So what, do I pull it and then maybe there's something medically that we can do, or do I not pull it? And I just think, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna pull the bell. I've always been told we're gonna get more mad at you if you don't pull it versus if you do pull it, because maybe there is something that can be done. So I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna pull the bell. So I run across, like around the bed, I crawl through the forest of wires that was connected to him. I yank the call bell out of the wall, emergency bell goes off, and then the secretary like answers, "Oh, room, blah, 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 is everything okay?" And honestly, I don't even remember what I said. I was in such a haze. I was panicking. I think I yelled like, I need help, he's not breathing, call the doctor. And then before I knew it, 20 seconds later, 3 people rushed into the room. And then again, it's like a haze. I remember one person took the vital machine that was still connected to him, tried to get a blood pressure, couldn't get a blood pressure. I remember putting the side rails down, even though I knew we weren't going to do CPR. And our charge nurse came in and said, "Oh, who's the nurse?" Because I guess she didn't know, like, go with the wife. So I was like, okay, that's me. So I went with the wife, and she went into like the lounge TV area. So she was prepared for it. Oh, also I forgot to say, as soon as I yanked the bell out of the wall and the emergency bell went off, he started breathing again. He started breathing again, and when I left, I thought he was still breathing. So I was like, okay, maybe it was just a momentary. I don't know. Anyway, so I go to see the wife and I sit down with her and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm not sure, the doctors are there now. They're gonna look, assess him. Last thing I know, he was breathing. I'm gonna go see what's going on. I'll come and update you when I know more." As I'm walking back to the room, charge nurse comes out and she says, "Where's the wife?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's in the TV room." And I'm like, "Oh, is he gone?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's gone." So we walk together to see the wife. She tells her, and the wife, honestly, she wasn't surprised. Like, she knew this was gonna happen, so she took it pretty well as can be. But so I stayed with her. I explained to her that we were going to remove all the equipment from the room. We were going to remove like his PICC line, his Foley, everything. We were going to prepare him, and then in like 5-10 minutes, she was going to be able to come and say her goodbyes. And so I walked back to the room with our charge nurse, and by that time, everyone else was gone. The PB was already aware he was coming, so we removed like his butterflies, his Foley, his PICC, his oxygen. We removed all the equipment out of the room. We repositioned him because I don't know if you guys know, but when someone passes away, there's rigor mortis, which is the stiffening of the body, and that happens very quickly. It happens between like 5 to 10 minutes. And you want to position the body so that when the family comes to see them, they're not like with their mouth open, their eyes open, and like all crooked, because that has happened to me before. And so we reposition him, put the blankets over him, and I go tell her that she can come say her goodbyes. She goes in. A minute later, she comes out, and she says, "Okay, what's next?" And then I tell her that she has to sign a release of the body form. So I walk with her, and she signs the form, and she hugged me, which I found was I was very touched, because I had only known this woman maybe 10 minutes, and half of that time, her husband had died. And she hugged me, she thanked me and us for all of our great care, and she just left, just like that. In 5 minutes, she left, and her life will never be the same, but my day had to keep going because I have 5 other patients that are waiting for me. And by now, like say I started my shift at 3:30, finished report at 3:50. This had all happened. It was maybe 4:15 by now, and I still hadn't taken all my other patients' vital signs, so I hadn't given medication. So while the charge nurse and the PAB were kind of cleaning up the room, everything, I took the opportunity and went to do all my other patients' vital signs, say hi, everything like that, do a quick assessment, came back, and by the time I came back, we needed 3 people to put him on the stretcher, bring him down to the morgue, come back up, and now call housekeeping to clean the room, and just keep on with my day, gave my medications as if nothing had happened. And I find that that is a strength that we have as nurses and people working in the hospital in general, is that when something like that happens, we were automatically set to just keep going, and it's like you turn a new page. You know, like, okay, patient died, it's behind me, I have 5 other people that need me, I have all these things to do, and you just keep going. Like, that is an unbelievable strength that we have. So that's what happened on Tuesday. It was very, very stressful. And I had another experience a few weeks ago where a patient was a level 5. So he was palliative. And so when he passed, the niece was there. She called us to the room, and we just didn't do anything. I stayed with her for about 20 minutes, pat on the back, let her speak, listen to what she had to say, tried to comfort her, and then she left and whatever. But those are the only 2 experiences I have with death, and they were both very different. Every experience is going to be different. Honestly, I thought it would be hard, but it's not. I've told you guys this before. I find that when you're at work, you're in work mode. Like, if someone were to drop dead on the street, I would probably freak out because I wouldn't be in work mode. But since I'm in work mode, it's like, okay, what's next? Gotta keep going. Like, I don't know. Death is unavoidable. We're all gonna die someday. And in the hospital, we just happen to see more of it than other people do. And I don't know if that makes us immune to it. I don't think so. Like I said, we're like in work mode, you know? So it's not like in our personal life. I don't think it makes us any more sensitive to death. I think it's our job. We're not there as a family member or as a friend. We're there as a nurse, and it's just our job to keep going, in a way to not look back, because if you do, you might get caught up in your emotions, and you really have to learn to leave those emotions at work. And I thought it was going to be much harder than it is. I thought I was going to have way more trouble with, honestly, a dead body than I do. Personally, for me, I find it's an automatic. I didn't even have to think twice. It's just, all right, let's keep going. Got a job to do, all that stuff. But then again, everyone's experience is different. Everyone sees death differently. Everyone deals with death differently. And every single death in the hospital is different. And some are going to be harder than others, some easier than others. And I think that's all I had to say. I wish I had more to say. But I guess just know that if death is something that you're afraid of, definitely don't be afraid to talk to your colleagues about it and your friends about it. And just know that one of your coworkers might have no problem with it whatsoever. And you might find it very difficult, and that's okay. That's normal, because everyone deals differently, and you just have to find ways to cope for yourself. And I'm sure with experience and with time, it kind of gets easier. But just know that you're not alone, and there are ways, I'm sure. Not that I would know, but I'm sure that there are ways to make it easier and to cope with those losses, even if they're not necessarily people that we know. Sometimes they are those. Sometimes they are patients that we've had for a long time. If you developed a relationship and they pass away, and that can be really hard. Like I said, this patient, I've had only been with him for 10 minutes, so I didn't really know him, but I can think of some other patients that I definitely grew attached to, and if they were to pass away, then it would be much more difficult. And I can't say how I would react because that hasn't really happened to me yet. But I will definitely keep you guys updated. Feel free to let me know and let others know in the comments how any experiences that you've had, or if you have any concerns, or if you're questioning things, or I don't know, if you're afraid. Definitely don't be afraid to let us know in the comments down below, because we're all here to help each other, and maybe someone feels the same way that you do, but they've been afraid to express it, or they're lost, they don't know who to talk to. So definitely talk to each other in the comments, and I'm always there. I'm always looking at what you guys are writing, and we can all talk and try to deal with this issue as best as we can. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you took something from it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.